So one of the things I wanted to talk about was something that has been kind of, mm, I guess sometimes once in a while bothers me. Um, and this is just to be honest, meaning like my emotions about regarding, humanity still looks for information. And it's almost like there's this whole thing about knowing and then just doing, not realizing that emotions are a huge part of this whole thing. When I say emotions, I mean embodying, going deep into the subconscious or whatever it is, whatever we want to call it. We're in this age of Aquarius, but I think there's sort of a leap between what's been happening where we're just so focused on like elevating, or rather escaping, and just doing. And it's still, I would like to call it rampant. And it's very triggering. Um, Not just, I'm just toning down right now. And I don't like to see, I think it's because I've had to, literally had to, grow up having this experience of having to do things on my own for myself, even though I did get support. But it's like when it comes to that feeling, there's this sort of resentment that comes with it, where it's just like, I just can't get this myself. But then, and then the other people are doing it. So what's happening is that I haven't fully accepted it. I mean, I'm still growing, I'm still learning from it, I'm still healing from it. Um, and that's the whole thing about, you know, there are people out there who is like, well, what's this one? Where do I get this one? Or what's this one? Where do I get this one? And it's not that it's their fault, it's just a kind of a behavior. It's an automatic sort of behavior that some people have. It's just nothing to do with good or bad. It's nothing to do with that at all. In fact, I don't believe in such things. It's just the fact that it does get triggering. So that's the whole point. But I wanted to connect this specifically to this whole thing that is what I find very important that even astrologers miss. And that's this whole thing with Neptune and Pluto. Neptune Pluto has been sextile since 1945. It'll be sextile up to 2035, so 10 years more. Uh, um, what this often signifies is um, work that we have to put in, an effort that we have to make in order for us to actually go deeper into the subconscious, which is Neptune, but also dissolve and go through the truth of what our inner core values are, Pluto. So, inner power, true inner power, and sort of an acceptance and, a balance between, Neptune is water, right? It rules water. So it's vacillating. It's like Pisces. It rules Pisces. It's a modern ruler of Pisces. So it's a dance between the ego itself and, escaping from ego. But escapism shouldn't be the word for that. It's more like the dance between the fluctuations between the two. So it's really about honoring and accepting and embodying a healthier ego. So that also comes to the point where it's just like for me, I don't know what it is. It's a very pacifist energy to Neptune, which is kind of ties in with the age of Pisces before the age of Aquarius, or there used to be so much more initiative, but then it sort of died down when the age of Pisces came through. That was the age of Aries. So what happened with humanity is what that symbolizes is there's this sort of thing that's been happening where just like people are now become like, just give me what to do, tell me what to do, and wait for the apple to fall off the tree. So we become basically lazy in many ways. So um, there's still residue today when it comes to all that stuff. It's one of those lessons that I'm still learning myself, where it's very triggering. Just like, well, if I had to scrounge up information for myself. If I had to learn it this way, if I had to do shadow work this way, I have to do it this way, this way, right? The reason that there's a reaction to it in the first place, I know, is that because I haven't fully accepted the gift behind this so-called laziness. Um, so what this signifies for the world is that when it comes to our own transformation, we have to put effort into it. It can't be that passive Neptunian selves anymore. We have to find our ways to do it ourselves as well. Not necessarily that we're alone, but we have to do the work ourselves. We just look for support at the same time, right? This is a Plutonian thing. Pluto is about having to figure things out basically on your own, because it's trying to find your true power from within. Power is not real power is not conquering others, right? We've heard this a million times. And if you haven't, that's what it is. Pluto represents that. So there's this dance that's happening. So it's funny how 1945 was technically the end of the war, World War II. So it was a start. It was one of those points in time today that's been happening still today, where it's like this whole dance between the two signifies that it's like we have to put effort into it, but it will happen naturally when we put effort into it. So basically, you got to work on it. You got to find ways. You got to find your tenacity. You got to find your power inside, from the inside, from the inside, from the inside, and really cleanse that, dissolve and cleanse. The two together, Neptune and Pluto, it's all about dissolving, but not getting rid of. There's a difference, right? Getting rid of the ego, for example, can't do that. You cannot do that. There's this, I think, prevalent belief that it's like, I have no ego. And it's like, that is right there, already ego. You can't deny yourself the ego. The only choice is, is it going to be an unhealthy ego or a healthier ego? The healthy ego knows its part as its role in the whole grand scheme of things. It co-creates with its highest form, whatever we want to call it. The point is not the point. The point is not the name. The point is not the labels. The point is not even astrology. The point is not any of that stuff. The point is, are we growing? Are we learning? Are we evolving? All that stuff. Evolving doesn't necessarily mean like it's always about, oh, better. It's not really about better, actually. It's about expansion. Expansion doesn't always mean better. You think of better, we go into like la-di-da, flowers and rainbows and heart and sugar cane, sugar whatever, candy canes and yay, la kumbaya, namaste, getting that kind of stuff, right? It's just, it can't be pure like that. That's part of it, but we have to look at every single aspect, every single thing, every single tiny minute thing. But are we willing to work on it? That's the question. Are we willing to put effort into it? Are we really, really, really willing? Eckhart Tolle once said, sometimes you have to get to the point where you're just sick and tired of wallowing, going to that mode where I cannot. Whatever, there's different forms. The point is, when we get into it, it's not even about anything. Like sometimes even the most stubborn things, when we get stuck, when we're in a rut, we will get tired of being in a rut too. Same thing with the opposite. Or just like we're evolving. No, 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 no. So I've seen so many people go into circles. Like I've been to many circles, like say for mediumship and all that stuff. And sometimes it's like, no, no, no. Like it's almost like I'm forgetting just being enjoying. Because everything is spiritual. Everything is also not spiritual. The point is everything is just what it is. So why, so yeah. The other thing I wanted to mention is that there's this whole thing about um, the information that we get, right? We get all these information, everything changes, everything, sorry, that's the whole point. I was going to say everything changes. So this is another thing. This is represented by Mercury. So Mercury in astrology, I find, is more than just Mercury. It's communication. If you think about Mercury as a form of communication, knowledge, and all that stuff, think about what you're getting, right? Even in science, think of like, oh, we didn't know this. Oh, this changed. Exactly what it is. So when we get a certain piece of knowledge, never conclude that that's the only knowledge that there is. Even like for me, I I'm still learning that. It's just like, oh, that's right. Okay. Maybe there's a different way of going about this, right? There's a different way of going about this. Because I get pretty stubborn too. So I understand stubbornness. Um, or at least I understand my version of stubbornness. So anyways, it came to me during my little bathroom break, and I was showering and I was like, okay, cool. So this is important. I wanted to show you actually quickly to end this where I'm one of those people. Many of us actually have this sextile. So you see this right here, Neptune. This is Neptune. This is Pluto, right here, sextile. Many of us have this till today. So those who are born between 1945 until possibly 2035, those who will be born that year, yeah, um, will have this placement. Let's take a look though. I'm kind of curious. Actually, before we go into the ephemeris, which I'm going to go into here, let's look into this. You see that? Motion of Pluto and Neptune, 1945 to 1935. So I wanted to show that. Um, so in 2035, that's what they're saying. Let's look at Neptune. So this ephemeris, for those who don't know, ephemeris is kind of like you can call it like a calendar. It's not really a calendar, but kind of, right? So take a look at when Pluto will be. So let's look at Pluto and Neptune right beside each other, right there, right? So 17, that's 2 degrees right there. So Aries, Aquarius. Okay, let's see here. So it's 2 degrees difference, 2 degrees difference, 2 degrees, 2 degree orb. I'll explain what that means later, but that's for the side, that's for the astrology behind it. 2 degree orb, 2 degree orb, 2 degree orb. So while Pluto remains in retrograde here, look at this. Neptune is moving forward into Aries. So once it gets into past 8 degrees past the sextile, or even past 6 degree orb, so you have 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So once it goes into about 25 degrees or more, you see this? Pluto is pulling back to 18 degrees. Look at this, 25. Oh, 24, and then Neptune pulls back. So around September, maybe October, September, is when there's going to be this pullback. It doesn't mean that sextile will not be there again. It will, because that's just the formation of the planet. So what it's showing us today is that because it'll come back, or basically it'll go away, so to speak, um, it signifies, at least for me, how I would interpret it. It signifies that it is there's healing that's been done. So we're kind of taking a break from that. Um, so it doesn't mean that it's not going to be there. That's not the point. It's like, oh, well, da, 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 da. So, anyways, so the point of this whole thing is that when it comes to healing, when it comes to information we get, um, knowledge is not the point. Hell, healing is not even the point. I know that sounds kind of like for people, it's like, why are you saying that? No, no, no. Well, if you go deep within, you'll start to realize that it's because it feels like there's people out there who just want to heal, 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 heal. As in, have you ever asked yourself, why do you want to continue healing? Because you want it to feel good. You want to feel good. So is healing feeling good? Is it really about feeling good? Pose those questions to yourself. Is it really about feeling good? If your quick answer to that is yes, by all means, fine. I'm not judging you for that, but it is more than that, right? So I'm not here to give you more knowledge. Really, I'm just here to share what I feel about this whole thing. Um, because for me personally, I'm kind of sometimes I want to throw up in my mouth or, want to go through some sort of disemboweling process or just like, oh my God. It's just like, it's like, feed me. No. And that's just for me. I'm just saying, for me, I don't want to be, but at the same time, something that has to be learned from that too. But sometimes there is a lesson to learn. Sometimes you just have to, for me, I want it to be fair. That's part of my one of my basic needs. If I don't find fairness in, like, for example, like I'm reading a lot for people, but I don't get compensated for it, it's like, no, that's not fair. It's just not fair. And that's, it's fine. It's, when you're giving, it's fine because if especially if it comes from a place of like you actually wanting to give because you have this abundance inside, but in order to even feel that abundance, you have to work on that itself. Okay, so that's just my experience. I don't know. I mean, I don't have the answers to everything. I just go through whatever I go through day by day, as my sister puts it, take it day by day. That's all. So I just wanted to share that we make effort into our we have to put effort into our healing if we really want to heal, but at the same time it's not so much about the healing, it's not so much about the knowledge, it's not so much about the feeling good, it's not really about that. I think it's all of the above, to be honest. So it always fluctuates, and just like in nature, everything fluctuates. Change is inevitable, but so is constancy. So, right, so that's it. Thank you for watching. Comment down below if you'd like to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.